Knicks have been a joke of a franchise the last few years. And this year is no exception. They have the worst record in the NBA. And, well, they just traded away one of the best players in the NBA to the Dallas Mavericks, and that is Kristaps Porzingis. And it was a huge 7-player deal involving Courtney Lee, Trey Burke, Tim Hardaway Jr., Kristaps Porzingis, of course, and Dennis Smith Jr., DeAndre Jordan, with Wesley Matthews. At first, I really thought this trade was really close, as the Knicks, of course, got DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, and Dennis Smith Jr., while the Mavericks got Kristaps Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr., Courtney Lee, and Trey Burke. And the reason why I thought it was so close at first was because Kristaps has a torn ACL. We don't know if he's going to be the same player. But let's be 100% honest. He most likely will. ACL injuries are huge, but they're not the biggest. The biggest, in my opinion, is an Achilles tear. That is career. That's basically career ending. But an ACL you can recover from, and players have done it before. So I believe Kristaps can do it. He's only 23. So let's really get into why I think the Mavericks just finessed the Knicks in this deal. So one of the players the Knicks got back was DeAndre Jordan. And even though he's not playing bad, he's playing pretty decently. Great rebounder. A pretty good shot blocker. Not very versatile on the offensive end, though. But he is having a career high in free throw percentage. He has just revitalized his free throw game. But he's just not the same player he used to be. And he's on an expiring contract. And it's a huge one. 1 year for $22.9 million. Basically 23. But $22.9 million for 1 year. Sure, he's basically just going to be let go at the end, I'm pretty sure. Because I don't think the Knicks are really going to give him another big contract. Because, of course, everyone's saying the Knicks are looking to find a couple superstars to give max contracts to. But, I don't know, that's just a lot of money for DeAndre Jordan. And, of course, the Mavericks were the one who gave him that contract in the first place, which I still wasn't a fan of. Doesn't matter which team gave him it. I still didn't like it. And now we go to Wesley Matthews. He is a great 3-and-D player. I don't know what else I can say, except, of course, back in 2015, Mavericks signed him to a huge contract, 4 years for $70 million, and right now, he's eating up $18.6 million in cap space. And there's been a lot of talks about a buyout and how a bunch of teams are looking to sign him right away. But I don't see that happening. I think the Knicks are going to hang on to him for the rest of the season and then let him go in free agency. Of course, these are just small picks of their contracts right now. Of course, doesn't matter, because at the end, they're most likely going to be let go into free agency. But then again, this is the New York Knicks we're talking about. They just traded away their franchise piece in Kristaps Porzingis. And they're going to be looking to sign pieces in free agency. So, and if they can't find anybody else, they will sign these two players back. So we can't completely rule it out, no matter how big the contracts get. And now we look at the best asset the Knicks got back in this trade. Or is it really? Dennis Smith Jr. He's a great point guard. He's a great scorer. He can get to the basket, insanely athletic, a pretty good playmaker, very ball dominant. He's young, super talented kid. But when I look back, the Knicks passed up on Dennis Smith Jr. to draft point guard Frank Ntilikina in the 2017 NBA draft. So really, was it worth it? Was it worth trading Kristaps to get a point guard finally? When you could have just drafted him this whole time to have him and Kristaps play together? I mean, I really wanted Dennis Smith Jr. to play with the Mavericks. I really didn't think him and Luka really conflicted each other that much. Yes, they conflicted their playing styles, but it wasn't that big of a difference, my God. The Mavericks were still playing good, but hey, you get Kristaps out of it. What are you going to do? You get a top power forward in the league, and he's insanely young. Him and Luka are going to kill the NBA. So Mavericks, you easily win, and I can't forget the 2 first-round picks involved in this trade that the Mavericks, or no, not that the Knicks got, but I don't think they'll be getting them for a couple of years because the 2019 pick is either going to Atlanta or it's going to stay with Dallas. It's a top 5 protected, and depending on if it goes to Atlanta, that's the same with the 2020 first-round pick. So the Knicks won't be getting Dallas's first-rounders until around 2021 starting. So, and that's just if the Mavericks, they are top 5 protected though. So again, this is all based on what ifs and blah blah blah. And now let's get on to why the Mavericks just killed it. Besides what the Knicks just did, now let's look at what the Mavericks did. The Mavericks get back, first piece, Tim Hardaway Jr. And this is great, okay? You just got rid of Wesley Matthews, had a gigantuan contract. You get back a very similar player, definitely not as good on defense, but he's better on offense, let's be honest. Even though he shoots a hell of a lot more than Matthews, he's pretty good. Let's be real. He's a great shooter. He can score, great scoring ability. I like Tim Hardaway Jr., and he can fit well with this Mavericks team. Sure, Trey Burke isn't on the level of Dennis Smith Jr., but you still get a starting caliber point guard back in this trade, which is huge for Dallas. Considering, I don't think they have much at the point guard position. They had Dennis Smith Jr., I think they have J.J. Barea and Jalen Brunson coming off the bench. And getting Trey Burke, that is huge in this trade. You just got rid of your starting point guard, who has been playing great. And now you get Trey Burke, who has revitalized his career and is essentially playing amazing, comeback player. Just phenomenal what this trade has done. I mean, it's not that great yet, it looks like, but just wait till we get farther here. You replace 2 players that you just got rid of, and then you get a little bit extra. The Knicks had to throw in Courtney Lee just for some cap space, of course. And then you get this man, Kristaps Porzingis, the unicorn. This man is so talented, I just can't believe the Knicks would make this mistake. Yes, the Knicks did get a lot back in return, but if you think about it, with what the Mavericks just got back in return, Tim Hardaway Jr. and Trey Burke replacing Matthews and Smith Jr. Sure, they're not as good, but to each their own, they're still very talented players. Surrounding Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. So those 2 first-round picks are for the future. They won't be worth that much when they're later first-round picks. They're still first-round picks, don't get me wrong, still huge for the Knicks. But you look back to the Knicks drafting history, they do not hit on any draft picks besides Kristaps Porzingis. And Kevin Knox, still unknown, okay? Can't say much about Kevin Knox, but I'd say in the last 10 years, the only draft pick that really worked out is Kristaps. Comment below if you think otherwise. And let's go back a little further into the Knicks' history. On draft night, they boo Porzingis on draft night, okay? So that's strike 1. His second year in the league, Kristaps skipped exit meetings with Phil Jackson and a couple other executives because he was frustrated with the direction of the franchise. And he was criticized hardly, like very hard by Knicks fans. They were saying, oh, it's only your second year in the league, and you shouldn't be this entitled. Went on and on, criticized by Phil Jackson. When he was questioned, he said, I love New York. I don't want to leave. I love New York. Okay? Here it is. The Bucks built their offense and the team around Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Nuggets run their offense through Nikola Jokic. What have the Knicks done? Well, they spent a whole year running Carmelo Anthony out of town, and then they've been trying to implement the triangle offense. So that's what they've been doing this whole time. And then October 15th of 2018, the Knicks declined to sign Kristaps Porzingis' an extension. That's strike 3. Okay. 2017, All right. Then Kristaps goes to the management. Okay, that was October 15th, 2018, may I remind you. So then comes this season. I mean, that is still in this season. That 2 incidents alone in this year. Because just a week ago, or no, a couple days ago, Porzingis goes to the management and goes, hey, I really don't like us losing. Let's start winning more. And he complained about the winning and the losing situation that they are in right now. And you know how Phil Jackson and the other management and executives respond? Boom, by trading him. They trade their best player when he complains that he wants to win. He didn't come out and say, hey, trade me. We all knew he was unhappy in New York. Anyone would be, the way they treat their stars. No, he just asked, can we win? God forbid. Okay. So, the Knicks just absolutely... Wow, I mean, if you look at it, they got some good pieces back, but, I mean, they really didn't, okay? You get rid of your best scorer right now in Tim Hardaway Jr., the comeback player of the year, okay, not really, but still, he's just revitalized his career in Trey Burke. Wesley Matthews and DeAndre Jordan are both expiring contracts. Dennis Smith Jr., you could have already drafted him, and the 2 first-round picks are going to be late first-round picks, and they're going to be... and they're not even for a couple more years. So is this trade really worth getting rid of your best player and one of the top players in the NBA? Let me know in the comment section below. Please like this video, subscribe for more NBA and NFL content. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.